The
I'm
ones
ready
I
to
wanted.
go, guys, whenever you
All
guys
right.
are ready. So,
I'm good. Dylan, you good?
I'm good.
Lagru, you good?
I'm good.
Toph, you good?
I've never been good.
Are you acceptable?
He's good for this then.
I'm satisfactory. Yes.
Fuck it, we just found pre-roll. That's beautiful.
Holding the key firmly in my hands. I'm looking forward, I know where I stand. And this is it, I have nothing to lose. Now is the right time, I'm making my move. On the high now. You can't bring me down. On the high now. You can't bring me down.
Holy balls, we're back with another episode of World 1-1 podcast. Before we jump into it, all the wonderful places you can and should find us. We are streaming live right now on our delightful Twitch channel. You can, of course, always find us at our home on Podbean at world11.podbean.com, all spelled out, all one word. iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, our excellent and growing YouTube channel. Like the Facebook page, follow the Twitter, and Kathy, I think, is doing a thing with that weird millennium-powered Gen Z baby motor thing, Instagram, whatever it is. So, with all that nonsense out of the way, let's get into it.
Choose your fighter!
I am your host, as always, Larry the Bearded Wonder. Joining me tonight, we have Dylan Drinky Pants,
Yep.
who is on rare occasion tonight not drinking.
Yes. That is correct.
Kathy, the Lord of the Stream.
hey, everybody.
Josh the Lagru.
Hello.
And we are joined again tonight by a special guest, His Royal Highness, returning from stepping down from his throne to walk amongst the people, the King of the Bees, Topher Cantler.
I love that. King of the Bees. That's good. I'll take it.
It
Hi!
was too good the first time. I couldn't let it go and not have a reappearance.
Yes, I would like to still be King of the Bees.
Definitely King of the Bees.
Maintain that title.
Why not?
That title is now permanently bestowed upon you. You can only rise in rank from there.
Emperor.
Exactly. It's going to be a striped yellow and gold, yellow and black crown. So, all right. So, let's. Yep, it's going to die right there.
No, it's good. It's good. I liked it.
Shit. So let's dive right into it with.
Oh my gosh!
Video games.
Let's start out with our guest of honor tonight, Topher. The hell have you been playing since we last talked, or just recently? Your pick.
What was I playing last time?
good
Probably the same shit.
I think Splatoon was one of them.
That's
probably.
right.
Yeah.
Big bitch.
Yeah, that's ruined now.
Oh,
Pretty much.
Can't play that anymore until the next one comes out.
why not? I've kind of dropped off Splatoon.
The meta's all fucked up now. It's because it's the same thing that happened with the first game. It's great for a couple of months, and then it turns into this like lowest common denominator.
Yep.
Path of least resistance. Like
Casual stream.
someone on YouTube tells the children that this is the weapon you should use to win easily, and the sub that you should,
Right.
here's how to win without doing any work, and then you get into a lobby and it's just 7 people with the same loadout. Anyway,
So what's replaced Splatoon then?
I don't know. I've been playing Don't Starve a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fucking love that game. And the Switch version is the shittiest, buggiest, least stable thing I probably have ever played, but I love the game, so I've just been putting up with it.
Oh, that's a shame. It kind of reminds me of when Binding of Isaac came out on 3DS, I was super excited at the time to have it portable finally, and only to find out it was like fucking a terrible port. It just did not run right. So that broke my heart.
Yeah, it's got its issues, but you know, I still play it anyway. And
Is the fact that
the multiplayer one, the Don't Starve Together.
yeah,
My wife and I play that on Steam sometimes.
right on.
Yeah. It's just good. It's a good thing.
I dig it.
Yup.
Still keeping the other usuals in the background, lots of Puzzle Fighter and Ikaruga and every other bullet hell you can get your hands on.
Man, I haven't played Ikaruga for. I played it a little when it came out on Switch,
Yeah.
but other than that, not really.
Would- That reminds me, since we talked, we showed it off a couple weeks ago. Have you gotten your hands on one of the flip grips?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh
my buddy has
god,
one. I played with it. It's cool.
dude, that is the most comfortable way to play a Switch handheld, isn't it?
Yeah. I never take my Switch out of the dock ever.
Like, I play a shit ton of handheld with my Switch, and it just the way it redistributes the weight is so much more comfortable than this. Like, I want every game to just be vertically oriented so I can play everything in the flip grip. So, and it's delightful for not only Ikaruga, but there's a few others. I don't know if you listen to some of the recent stuff, but I came across there's a quick and dirty, super cheap shooter on the eShop called Switch and Shoot. I would recommend to you to check out.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's not bullet hell by any means, but it's a ton of fun, and it's a clever little arcadey shooter with a neat mechanic.
Have you played Blackbird?
No,
You should. That's what you need to be playing.
is that one that's on the eShop that slipped to my purview?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's going on the wish list immediately. It's happening. I throw down like that.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
Blackbird.
Yeah.
Right on.
Plays a lot like Fantasy Zone.
Ooh. Now I'm extra interested. So.
Pretty great. Onion Games, the guys that did Million Onion Hotel, which is a mobile game apparently. I've not played it, but that was pretty popular.
I say that's one I'm not familiar with at all.
I'm not
Not
familiar
even by
with
name.
any mobile game, but that apparently is the other thing that they did. So
Okay. Okay, I'm looking at Blackbird, and this does look real pretty.
yeah, it's great.
It totally looks it. So, right on. Anything else for you, Toph?
Cuphead, a little bit of Cuphead, a
Yeah.
little bit of the new Captain Toad DLC.
Okay. What do you think of the DLC on Captain Toad? I'm
It's
curious.
good. It's good. I should have come out with the game, but
Right.
I'm happy to pay for more Captain Toad. It doesn't bother me.
That's
It was
fair.
good though. Yeah, it was really good. And I played Yoshi's Crafted World, which I was very disappointed with.
Too easy.
It felt like filler levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just
From-
so.
Yes.
The whole game felt like filler levels from some other Yoshi game.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I kept looking at it going, I just can't see it living up to any of my expectations. I didn't even throw money at it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
rented it.
Yeah, you want to love it, but
It was
Yeah.
good. It was
It's
good.
fun
it was
for
good,
like the
but-
first 20 minutes, and then like it's literally the same soundtrack throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
And they talked up all of the level flips, and you can do the thing from the other side, but the other side is just finding Poochie Pups.
all right.
Yeah.
That's all it is
Yeah.
for all of them.
That's
So
a
yeah.
shame.
Yeah, it was not
Because
very good.
my
Did not look
expectations were
right.
high because Woolly World was so good, so good.
No kidding.
Yes,
Yeah, I agree.
Woolly World
Actu-
was amazing.
I got my hands on all the Woolly amiibos. They were too adorable not to. The only one I had a bitch of a time finding was the giant yarn Yoshi, and Eddie was kind enough to Eddie tracked one down in Chicago and brought it over for me. But
Nice.
we actually that came out at just the right time. We used the pink and blue yarn Yoshis to do the gender reveal for our daughter.
Nice.
Aw.
I had them hanging up on my cubicle wall at work a couple years back when it was coming up, and a countdown was going on the wall. And one day the countdown reached 0, and one of them disappeared, and it was just the pink one left. I should have just left up the green one and confused the shit out of everybody.
It's a lizard.
I'm actually
Right.
surprised you didn't do that. I'm surprised.
Actually,
Larry melts like a big stick of butter.
speaking of lizard, actually, some of her ultrasound pictures, we were looking at them, when we first got them with friends years ago, and somebody's like, why does it look like your wife is going to give birth to a Charizard?
We're all Charizards in the early days.
Actually, she came out with like this cute, adorable little, thing going with her mouth, and I'm like, she looks like a Squirtle. Like the top lip was kind of sticking over the bottom, and it's like that cute turtle face thing. It's like, it's a Squirtle!
Nice.
Hell. Dylan, what have you been playing?
Well, mostly homework, but other than that, I've been playing more MLB The Show 2018. The Division, still playing through Division 2. And I picked up Euro Truck Simulator 2, not 20 anything, it's just 2. Which is surprisingly really relaxing. Like, if you need a break, it's a nice game to play. Driving through Europe, looking at landmarks and shit while you deliver toilet paper. It's fantastic. There's like Dutch windmills in the background. I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. These Dutchmen need their toilet paper, and I'm gonna give it to them.
Sounds too much like real life driving through Europe.
Yeah,
delivering
exactly.
toilet paper to Dutchmen.
Exactly.
I do that every day.
Hey, I enjoy it. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not exactly like real life, I don't get cramps in my foot, or have to readjust my ass every 40 minutes. It's just chilling. You drive for a living?
No, I was just making a dumb joke.
Oh. I was like,
Dylan plays it for an hour, and he starts thinking to himself, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Oh god.
I was actually listening to Bohemian Rhapsody while I was driving, so yeah.
I figured.
See,
yeah.
exactly, there it is. For the record, since you've only been with us one other time, Topher, just our running theme here is we all climb to the top of the comedy tree and push each other off the top branch and hit every bad pun and dad joke on the way down.
All right.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Every once in a while, Kathy ends up hurting herself as a result.
Yeah. It's happening more and more frequently.
It is. I feel like we're going to need to take out a life policy on her at this rate.
I'll have to pitch in
Well-
for that one.
You guys must be, I guess I'm missing the hint. You guys just don't want me on the show anymore, trying to get rid of me this way, injure me, so I can't appear. So
No, we figure if we injure you and you're stuck homebound and you can't get out and do anything, all you have to do is hang out and work on show stuff.
and hang out with us.
if you pay me, I will do it.
Maybe that's what we need to do for Eddie. We're gonna kneecap him so he can't go do unplanned
Oh my
shit.
God. He still would. He still would. He just would ignore you. Come on.
Shit. And
I wasn't
Kathy-
even planning on joining, and I joined, and he was planning, and he didn't. So it's like,
It works out.
yeah.
something along those lines. Kathy, what the hell have you been playing?
Not much, just 2 games, the same 2 as last week. Fortnite and The Witness. Fortnite, I'm sad to say, I lost a lot of points in the arena play, and I'm now down and back in Division 5. kind of sad. So I got mad. And there was a new mode called Airstrike, I believe it was. I don't remember. It was a stupid mode. They brought back the planes. But all it was you're paired up with somebody and you go around shooting people out of their planes. That was hella fun. So it was. It was a lot
Hey.
of
You
fun.
played any more Apex?
No, oh god, no. I haven't touched that game in ages, and I feel bad because I bought the Battle Pass and I
Right.
haven't done anything with it. That game just, until they do a solo mode and until they do a squad mode, I don't want to play it because
I like the 3-man runs.
I don't mind it. I just, again, don't have anyone to play with, and the people I do get paired up with are total asses. And they either run off
you
on
wanna
their
play again
own.
sometime. I'm down to play again.
You got homework to do, young man, and you got to study for those finals, so not until after.
Yeah, listen to your mother.
Yeah. But damn straight.
Pretty much.
And then the witness, Larry and I have been doing that on stream. I finally got through the puzzle I was stuck on. I was so happy, and no injuries this week. I
Oh.
did not suffer any injuries.
It's next week,
So-
right?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in a spot in the greenhouse area, so. But yeah, not much else. Just been hard at work trying to get this our Twitch stuff going again, and trying to update stuff with the new logos and new ideas that have been bouncing around, and so
Right.
that's about it. I feel kind of like a disappointment. Like I just
You've been adulting too much.
I gotta stop this adulting.
I know. Terrible.
It's the worst thing in the world.
So for anybody that hasn't been watching The Dumb Leading the Blind, I want you to share with everybody your thoughts and feelings on tetraminos and color math.
They can go fuck themselves. They can go suck themselves. They are the biggest fucking pieces of shit puzzles in the entire fucking world. However, when I do solve those fuckers, it is the best feeling in the entire goddamn universe. So, but
Well, then the puzzle's doing it right?
Exactly.
yeah, well, unfortunately, I've had to rely on Larry a little more than I wanted to, but that's all right. At least he doesn't give me the answer. He tries to get me to figure it out on my own. Now, there does come a point, though, where we've been playing for so long that my brain is just like, fuck this, just get the answer, don't try to think it out. So I'll pretend to think, but in reality, I'm just sitting there, like, singing a song or trying to time it out and try to look like I'm thinking, but I'm really not. And I'm just like, do I ask Larry for the answer, or do I just say we're done? I'm trying to be the good girl and say, I'm done, we need to call it. But there have been times where I've just wanted to, like, just give me the damn answer, Larry. Just stop fucking with me, give me the answer.
That reminds me, next time we jump on and we start working on the next session of that, remind me to send you to go visit the windmill.
Oh, fuck.
So
Okay.
the windmill will bring about some revolutions or some revelations for you. Well, both. It's a
Well,
windmill, it doesn't
revolutions, I
fit.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
There's your dad
That
joke.
works. So but
But,
we'll
Yeah.
get our Don Quixote on.
yeah,
Good.
so, good.
Then hope they don't.
Somebody tell Dylan to mute his mic.
Mute your mic, Dylan.
Better what they don't win.
Somebody ping him in chat. I don't have it up.
He's turning in drinky pants.
Hey, if you're gonna
Right.
do that, mute your mic, Dylan.
No. Well, I can't.
45-minute drive to your
so
house
you
and
may-
punch him in the face.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, there's no mute on this
There is
thing.
on Skype.
Yeah.
We can still hear you.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there. LeGrew, the hell have you been playing?
I haven't been playing much. I played some more Gunvolt, Striker Force, or Striker Pack. That is actually a pretty good game. Pretty good bunch of games, just to say, 2 of them on the Switch. And I have been playing a little bit of. I did play some more Dragalia Lost because yes, I know I got back into it. I actually paid some money, and so
What?
yeah, I put some money onto it because I'm like, you know what? When my PC kind of went on the blink for a few days, I'm like, you know what? I need to play something. So I played that a little bit. I played some more Starlink on my Switch. I did buy a bunch of things for Starlink. and I only got a few of them in the mail right now. So I've got Neptune starter pack, or not the starter pack, but I got that ship. I got a bunch of other
Right.
stuff too. I just haven't got them in yet. So, and then the other thing I've been playing is I'm an adult and I need to have some kind of responsibilities, which I don't like to play. So that's pretty much what I'm playing.
Right on. Tragically, I got like 0 this week. I spent my week playing administrative back-end production project manager shit for show-related stuff and some other auxiliary things that will eventually tie in. Who the hell is dying in the background? It sounds like somebody ran over a transformer. Like Prowl just got hit with a truck.
God.
It's not me.
Well,
I didn't do it.
but
And Optimus Prime needs to just watch where he's going.
yeah, that thing again. Anyway.
Oh,
I
that's
think about-
the door.
Oh, see how it is.
Oh, I see, Dylan. Okay.
Yeah.
Remind us never to invite you again.
Eh,
Oh,
I mean, I'll go do
Next
homework.
episode.
I mean, not homework. I'll go study.
Next episode. Dylan couldn't join us this week because he's been fired out of a cannon into the sun.
poor.
I did try and start something this week, and I got called away about 5 minutes into it. I was going to sit down and play my copy of the next Penelope that I downloaded because it looked neat, and I got to like scroll through 5 minutes worth of text and had to put it down to deal with something, and I never got to go back.
You did play a
So-
little bit this week. You were playing The Witness along with me.
I wouldn't say I was playing. No,
You
you're right.
said.
I
You
did
said.
technically, yeah, because I did pull up my run of the Witness, really just for the sole purpose of following along with where Kathy was at, and I inadvertently found a couple of puzzle panels that I had left unsolved and solved them at the same time. So yeah, I suppose I did technically play some Witness.
So you did say.
There you go.
So,
I'll take it. That's a win.
That
So-
is a win.
All right. Well, that brings us to the part of the show. Usually everybody's favorite part because it means that we're going to be quiet for a few minutes where we say, break! Welcome back. This is the bonus round. This is the middle part of the show where we do something weird, funny, and, just a little weird or strange and generally unrelated. This has kind of just become a stupid show and tell minute. So real quick before we get into what I've picked off the shelf this week for bonus round, I want to give a little lead in, a sneak peek at if you're watching the live stream now, you'll see it on our YouTube channel tomorrow. If you're listening to this in its recorded format, it'll already be up on the YouTube channel, and you should go check it out. But goodies came in the mail for me yesterday. And I know a couple of you know what it is because I've been really excited about this. But Iconoclast showed up. We got the collector's edition from Limited Run Games, so that's going to get an unboxing recorded and posted up on Thursday. So tomorrow for those listening and watching live, and yesterday for anybody listening and watching recorded. But this week for bonus round, I thought it'd be fun to dig into something actually game related again this time. I decided to go back a couple years on my shelf of Switch games and pull out something that actually had some really neat stuff, literally bursting at the seams. We're going to take a peek at Nicholas's publishing of Cave Story Plus on Switch. So right off the bat, I remember when I got this, and it's still to this day because I keep everything in the case that came with it. This case is literally bursting at the seams. If you look, it bulges, which is awesome. They pack so much good stuff in here. Artwork wise, real pretty artwork. I mean, just a gorgeous selection, front and back as well. But let's dig in here. So inside, right out, we've got our spiffy little pouch that actually had one of 4 random little rubber character keychains in it. I actually, when I bought it, did not get the one that I wanted. I ended up getting Curly, and one of the GameStop employees that was there where I purchased this was nice enough that because they, GameStop does that terrible thing where they open and gut a copy to put on the shelf.
Yes.
And it just so happened the gutted copy that they had the character I was looking for, and the GameStop employee was nice enough to trade me. So I ended up with the one I wanted, which was Quote.
Cute.
It is. It's a really well done little keychain. Again, I wish it was actually like a metal one instead of the little, bendy rubber one that I'm always, I would never put on my keychain because it would just get destroyed in my pocket. Also in here, I love that this exists. There is actually a physical CD soundtrack in the Switch case, and if you're wondering how the fuck do you fit a whole CD in that Switch case, the answer is mini disc.
Okay.
It's a GameCube game. No, sorry.
Yeah, no, they loaded up a little mini disc with the soundtrack for Cave Story on there, and it's got some real pretty kind of super simplistic artwork of Quote on the disc there that I really like. Now, one of the best things about any Nicholas game that's ever come out, and they were doing it before they were the pioneers for Switch on this before LRG hit the scene, and LRG definitely took a cue from it. I still think actually Nicholas does it better, but the manuals that come with all of the Nicholas games are always amazing. So a lot of the Nicholas games or Nicholas published games tend to kind of pull inspiration from various old school NES 8-bit era games and some 16-bit as well. And they tend to run with that theme for each of their games' instruction manuals. The Cave Story one actually, very much pulls from Metroid in terms of kind of stylistic artwork and layout from the original NES Metroid manual. There's some gorgeous artwork in here too. Like this is just on its own a beautiful mini art book. But they've got lots of story content in here. They go into and still give you the actual button configs and layouts, which is nice. I miss having this stuff in a manual. There we go. This is one of those things that screams, the original NES Metroid manual is like right here. The layout of like weapons and the screenshot in game, the way it formats. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. You can tell immediately where they pull their inspiration from. And the back of this manual actually has something really neat in it. It's got there's a page here that literally says stop, basically telling you there are spoilers and hints ahead. Great big bold letter, you can't miss it. It says stop. But
nice.
Yeah. So, but
I am Zelda.
I am going to totally share this. So if you don't want any spoilers on a decade-old game, skip ahead about 2 minutes here. But they've put it in a really neat way where they've got like little word puzzles and things to kind of decipher. Like this one here is a fill in the blank type deal.
Nice.
To give you some clues, and then they've got a thing about how do I get the best ending, and it kind of ties into a word game clue here, just like a big box cluster of words that all kind of relate to giving hints in terms of how to get. This is Cave Story. Yeah.
Cave Story. I've never heard of it.
It was a game that was on PC in early 2000. It's like a flash game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Started there, and then the first console iteration was on the Wii.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it on Switch now?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're looking at now. Is the physical edition for the Switch.
Okay.
So, yes, if you can get your hands on the physical edition, there's a ton of cool stuff in the pack. If not, just download it on the eShop. It's dirt-ass cheap. It's a fantastic game, multiple endings, really cool, like, kind of forking story stuff that it's the forks in the story and some of the choices stuff are things that you just play that you don't realize that you're making game affecting choices. They literally
Right.
just kind of happen. It's
Okay.
super subtle.
It's on 3DS also. So
Yep.
if you want to play it there, you can too.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you actually like 3D, play it on the 3DS because it actually looks pretty sharp in 3D.
It almost reminds me of like Mega Man from what you're showing me.
Right. The art style kind of very much does lean into that as well. It is very, very 8-bit styled. And then they've even got the bonus top secret clue matrix at the very end as well. You know, more of that word cluster thing to try and figure out, you know, all the important stuff. But no, it's just super sharp. And even right from the cover, front and back, it does harken back to the original NES Metroid with just super, you know, simple logo on shiny silver backing. And the back is literally just a plain silver like the original NES Metroid. And then inside, there is some additional artwork in the case that's actually pretty neat. Very pretty. We'll pull that out there. So that's the actual inside artwork. But there was a ton of stuff packed in this little guy, and it was $30 at retail at launch. So, you know, it's
Awesome.
it's a legit price point for a great indie game that is packed chock full of really cool goodies. And, you know, that's where Nicholas started with their publishing on Switch. And, you know, they set a solid precedent there, and they've held to that precedent. Anytime I get a Nicholas game on Switch, physical copy, there's always really cool shit in the box.
It's been a
one of-
while though since they released anything. I think
The
Ikaruga
end
was the last one.
Ikaruga didn't hit, did it? Did I miss
Yeah,
this?
it didn't hit physical, but Nicholas released it on Switch. That's the last game that I remember.
Right,
them
no, I'm
doing.
talking their physicals.
Oh, they're physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're physical. I haven't seen anything from them in a while yet.
Last one I remember seeing from them was The End Is Nigh.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
think
yeah,
it's dope that they do that though. Like that's awesome. You know, that reminds me of you know, like Witcher. Witcher had a ton of stuff in there.
Yep.
Stuff.
Mhm.
It's one of the few companies that still do that kind of stuff. It seems like. You know.
yeah. Now, Topher, I know you got you got a lot of your notoriety on the online space from, you know, Retro Force Go. Given that Cave Story is a very, you know, retro feel game, was it one that you played that stayed on your radar at all?
I have never
Feelings
played
anyway?
Cave Story.
Really?
It might surprise you. Yeah, I haven't played
I'm
it.
actually a little stunned on that.
I know of it, of course. I mean, I know what it is and whatever. It's just one of those things that, you know, it's just we all have those games where it's like,
Right.
I probably should have played it, and I probably will sooner or later, but it's just one of those things that I just missed. I don't know.
Right now it's sitting on the list of shame.
I would say shame. It's just I just never got around to it.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It
Oh,
looks
and
cool
hi-
though. I mean,
hi,
I know what it
Topher.
is. It looks cool. Hey, what's up, Eddie?
hey, welcome back. And I'm sorry that I'm late.
That's okay.
Don't worry. There will be suitable punishment later.
Be nice to Eddie.
What?
I am. He's not going to complain about it. He never does. So, but yeah, I figured that'd be a fun one to pull out for bonus round this week. So that's bonus round this week. That being said, we'll be back in about 5 minutes for the third half of the show, where we're going to be jumping into Deep Dive this week. So we'll be back, and we're back with the third half of the show. This week we normally either do news desk or like this week we're going to be deep diving into a special topic. This is one that we've had kind of sitting on the back burner that I've been looking to get into, and I was actually super excited that Topher was joining us this week. It felt like he was a person I'd love to hear weigh in on this as well. So this timed out really well. So this week we're looking at can the video game industry survive capitalism? In recent years and super recent months, you know, we've seen video game companies and publishers especially like the giants, Activision, Blizzard, and EA in particular, are notorious culprits here. Take use capitalism and video games together to kind of take it to its logical conclusion, where we're getting just the base framework of a game and being sold the rest of it piecemeal, and turning games into anything but games, but rather they're coveted live services where they can keep you paying to play the game that you already paid a $60 entry fee into. So the question is, how much longer can this go on? How much more extreme does it get until it eventually collapses in under the weight of itself? And can the video game industry survive this kind of bullshit? And if so, how? What is the path to survival? And if the next video game crash happens, how do we come out of the ashes of it? What pulls it back together? What pulls the next NES?
It all depends on the fan base. If a fan base of a series goes away, companies is in trouble. EA doesn't have to worry about that. Activision doesn't have to worry about that, because no matter what people say about that company and their business, they're always going to have a fan base, because they got some of the franchises people like to play competitively. A lot of people don't want to go outside what they are known for. Right now, in a sense, though, is that we get all this bad news, but yet we still support them. So it's going to actually depend on the fan base. If the fan base is going to dwindle out, that's going to, affect that company. But right now, for an America sense, that's the way. When we think about capitalism, Activision and EA and Bethesda and stuff like that, we're thinking of here in America. But like in places in Europe and Japan, we don't have to worry about that. Europe, in a really big sense, is trying to make sure that your microtransactions are not gambling, loot boxes are not gambling. They're putting a lot of restrictions on companies, so none of that stuff can happen in their country. Where here, it don't even matter. We got news that Activision don't have to pay no taxes, and they could just make a bukus of money and fire 800 employees.
Topher, you want to weigh in on this? I know you said you had some thoughts you'd love to chime in, and I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, you go on. I'm not ready yet. I'll jump in when there's a window. This is such a sticky topic.
Yes.
I know we went heavy subject matter this week.
Well, think of it as this. Topher, do you feel that the way that we're getting games from Japan, definitely on Nintendo Switch and stuff, is kind of revitalizing them, where people are looking for, even for indie games, that we're looking for physical, and we're looking for those Japanese games that we want to put our money there over putting our money in microtransactions?
Oh yeah, I mean, it opens the whole market up. When you've got, I've always imported games for as long as I can remember, but now that that's available to everybody, Western developers are going to have to really think about, their business models and the whole loot box thing or whatever, where it's if you push that too far, then, everybody's got other options now that they didn't used to have. You're not locked into, what's out for NES or Genesis like it was, back in the day. It's like there are other routes you can take now. So, it's not going to go well if they keep that shit up.
But it feels like indie games, for a lot of people, that we want those indie games to be on physical cartridges or disc or whatever, and we'll go put our money there and buy it. Even when people complained about the Nintendo tax or whatever, people still were putting money there, where people didn't want to put their money on Battlefield 2 Star Wars or Battlefront 2 Star Wars, because it had all of this content that you had to pay for.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I mean,
it's pay to get ahead too. Like
Yeah.
that's the main problem with microtransactions in a competitive game. Is it
Yes.
game breaking? Is my progress locked to it? Like, I'm already paying $60 up front for this game. I shouldn't be nickeled and dimed just to get a leg up on the competitors. That's not what a competitive game should be. A competitive game should be an even playing field, amongst all competitors. Like, just because I've got $30 more invested into the game doesn't mean that I should be able to snipe you across the map in one shot with a pistol. It should be even. Period.
but they'll keep doing that shit as long as you pay for it.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And another thing, with that kind of stuff is like franchises that buy the rights to certain IPs, like EA's got a lockdown on NFL football because they bought the rights to the NFL license. Never won the bid out for them, and so 2K can't compete on that market anymore, which kind of sucks.
It's criminal because 2K had the better game.
Oh yeah, they did for sure.
Well, the contract that EA offered them probably had some like really big dollars on it. So they were probably like, there's going to be a big investment in return if you guys go exclusively with us. Because I don't know why the NFL would be like, we're making bucks from two companies. So let's stop making money from two companies and just make it off for one. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
What
but
I
that's
imagine-
just foreshadows what's going to happen to all of that stuff. Everything's
Right.
just going to get homogenized. That's how capitalism works.
Yep.
That's why you can't buy a fucking purple car or a yellow car. You go buy a car, what are you going to get? The white one, the black one, the red one, or the blue one?
Right.
Right.
They take just whatever sells, and that's what they, focus on. It's all just going to get homogenized and boiled down to like just a couple of things, and then you're going to have, just a couple of video games to choose from.
So
Which is why it's that, having overseas eShops available to you and having indie games available where, anybody can publish anything they want, kind of like, it's kind of a defense, I guess, against,
It's a
what
balancing
AAA publishers are going to do. Because if you look at, that just keeps getting worse and worse.
Right.
And indie games keep getting better and better.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Go
lie
ahead.
here. Honestly, part of me is kind of secretly looking forward to the day when the biggest of the publishers, or of the third-party publishers, because they tend to be the worst offenders. I will say the platform holders, at the very least, seem to have kind of, to a significant extent, kept the bullshit reasonably in check. You don't tend to really see any of the most egregious offenses in this space coming out of Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. It's literally almost always the big third-party publishers, and clearly you've got the two biggest repeat offenders, which is EA and Activision Blizzard, really kind of being the ones that get their name out there for anything but what they want in the press.
Well, that's kind of the point that I was trying to make, I guess, is that like all these other avenues now are like little lifeboats,
Mhm.
where like if there's another crash, that's
Yeah.
going to be on EA and Activision, and that's all those AAA publishers that can crash and burn. Video games aren't going anywhere because all of this other stuff's not going to be affected by any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they get shittier and shittier with their business practices and everything, that can all just come tumbling down. But the other stuff is not going anywhere. Indie games aren't going anywhere.
Oh no, and I give it up to Xbox Live, or no, Xbox Arcade. I'm sorry, on the 360, kind of making indies like very, recognized than Flash games on PC ever did. With WiiWare and then PSN, and then now in this generation, getting an indie game people are hyped for and be like, oh, that looks cool. And now is that game going to be on a Nintendo cartridge, or is that game getting a physical? Like, when have you had people demand for physical stuff over digital like they are doing now? And I don't think a lot of people are claiming, or a lot of people, they get upset at they get upset at EA and Activision for their business practices, but if it works for them, they're going to keep selling it.
Right. At the end of the day, they're a business, and a business is designed to make money. So as long as people are going to keep spending their money, they're going to keep doing the same shit. Like, that's the bottom line. Like, if you're selling cookies, okay, and people are like, oh man, I can't believe you're charging $18 for these cookies, but people are spending hundreds of dollars on your cookies, you're going to keep charging $18 for those fucking cookies. You're like, I mean, you can bitch about it all you want, but I'm getting my $18. So until they're not getting their $18, people are going to keep buying those cookies. So,
but when that whole thing comes crashing down, it's going to be just like, just that one building instead of all of downtown. You know what I mean? It's like when you've got like Internet Explorer or some old browser where you had like multiple tabs open and one of them started being fucky and the whole thing would shut down. Now, Chrome's got like the sandbox tabs where one of them gets fucky. Just let that one be fucky. The hell with it.
Yeah, you don't care
it doesn't
about
affect any of the other ones. We have so many tabs open now in terms of video games that it's like, it doesn't matter if that, if they want to be assholes and be like that tab can crash. And I'll just still be over here looking at porn in some other window.
Exactly.
What
I still want, I kind of, like, EA's policies piss me off. But, like, at the end of the day, like, where am I going to buy my football game? Like, there's...
Yeah, that does kind of suck if you're really into, like, sports games or
right. Like
Star Wars or something where you kind of have to.
Right, like they hold the keys to like some of my favorite shit, and I'm just like, well, this is where I'm at. Like,
but then, in a way, this is where I think this is where you start venturing out to find other stuff that is in that genre that you like. If you don't like EA and you don't want to support Madden, find Mutant League Football or some other indie game that's doing something cuckoo crazy.
Good,
but then you don't have,
I don't have my players. Like,
there's a difference between.
Team.
But that's the part of venturing out. You not having your team. What's stopping you from enjoying that other game and getting some good value?
It's not the same, even though I fucking hate sports and I don't want anything.
Right, it's not.
But as a car guy and somebody that's into racing games, like I get what you're talking about, because there's a big difference between like Gran Turismo or Forza versus one of those like something racing with like generic cars that don't exist, and big difference between like I can drive my actual car that I really drive in Forza, versus
right.
Yeah.
I will say it kills me because frankly, if the gaming community as a whole could fucking get it together and show some restraint for like a year or two and literally just hold out and not buy their annualized shit that they've been wrecking with
that's hard to do though, man.
I'm not saying it's not hard to do, but if you want to actually affect change, that's what's going to have to happen. Like,
I think like they're
starve EA on like Madden and FIFA for a year or two straight. Holy Christ, the things that could open up on that.
This is why I don't pre-order anything. Like, unless it's like a company that I know 100% like does right by the customer. Like, I will always order CD Projekt Red stuff, pre-order it. Don't care. They got my money every time. They're great to their fan base. Whatever, right. But like for the most part, 99% of IPs, I'm not pre-ordering shit. I don't care. You can throw in all the exclusives you want and sprinkle in all this bullshit. I don't pre-order something before you know that it's actually worth your money. I think that's the biggest thing is pre-orders. People are spending their money before they have a product in their hand, and broken, shitty games get released every single year, constantly.
I think you have to also factor in just different countries around the world. You know, you're not going to stop people in the UK for buying FIFA because it's
Right.
big over there. You're not going to stop probably like the fighting community in Japan because it's big over there. Like there's a lot of stuff that's big in different continents, and trying to stop them, like you guys said, is very difficult to do.
But like, I'm buying Madden every year. Like, it's happening. Like, I gotta have those live rosters. And it's dumb, but like, I watch football a lot. I care about like, you know, who's on the roster, who got traded. Like, I'm watching the draft. Like, I'm involved in football, and I like playing football games. Now, that being said, would I prefer if I could just pay like $10 and get a fucking DLC update for a live roster because the game's the exact same every year? Yes, that would be dope, but they're not going to do that. I mean, yeah, if there was a way that everybody could agree to not pay for a year or two, I would be down. Like, I would go without Madden for a couple of years. I mean, I think that's why they've changed so much in Madden, is because, was it 18 was a shit show, and people like, it was like one of the worst selling Maddens.
I heard this one is kind of bad too. Like,
Yeah,
online.
exactly. Yeah, a lot of people are shitting on this one too. I mean, this one's late in the game now though, so it's we'll see what happens with the next one. Like, I've made up my mind I'm not buying the next one unless they release like a career mode that's actually a career mode instead of like this like tacked on bullshit. But yeah, I think that there's ways you could do that. I just think that it's a big bark that I don't think has enough bite, to get everybody to agree, hey, I'm not going to buy, my team's roster update, essentially.
Well, Kathleen, I want to ask you, coming from the PC side, how do you think this affects them? I know the Steam and Epic debate and stuff, but how does it come from the PC side of things?
Like, what do you mean specifically?
Kind of how like
The
Steam.
surge in capitalism centric practices affecting the PC gaming community, because it definitely does crop up there, but I do think it shows up in a different form inside of the PC gaming community than it does inside the console realm.
Well, definitely. I mean, again, we're getting our games for a lot cheaper than what you may be when you're buying your physical copies, and in some regards. And for a long time, up until recently, there was really only one store. So everything kind of got filtered through one area, one person, and the companies made their money based off of the sales off of this one store. But now we're seeing the rise of multiple platforms, especially with Epic, what they're doing. It's just providing some more competition. But, let's look at the Borderlands announcement. I think that's probably the best example that's come up right now. Shut up, Dylan.
Dylan has feelings about
this is why I want to bring it up. No, this is why I wanted to bring this up. But give me a second, Dylan. Because this is actually why I brought this up, because you have very good points on this part of it. We're seeing the issue with Borderlands 3. It's Borderlands 3, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Borderlands 3 is going to be exclusively released on the Epic Game Store to begin with, and then it'll go out
6 months later, go to Steam. Yeah.
Steam. So that was an agreement made between the companies and Epic. And, Dylan, as an example, he's a big fan. You've been a big fan of the Borderlands series, correct?
Yeah.
And I know you've shared very strong feelings about what's going on in our chat. So I think this would be a great opportunity to turn it over to you, and you kind of explain your side, which I think kind of goes along with this, with the consumerism and the feelings about what we're talking about.
And before you go, Dylan, I'm assuming Borderlands 3 and Metro Exodus is coming out at the same time, because I think they're both, because it's a year. I think next year around February, both games would be out.
Borderlands is September, I thought.
Yeah, Borderlands is September, but 6 months from there.
Yeah. Around the same time.
That would be about the same time. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Dylan.
So I don't have a problem with them selling, like they're doing a better job of offering money to, you know, a developer to go to their thing. My problem is like when you ostracize your fan base because they're upset, like, hey, you know, like I don't want to have 30 different launchers on my PC. Like I'm all for like you incentivizing to get more stuff on your platform, but you know, I as your consumer, you know, should have the right to be like, hey, you know, I think it's kind of bullshit that you're selling out to just, you know, Epic Games. Like I don't think that like that's cool. I was really looking forward to playing it on Steam. I'm not going to buy it on EA. I'll wait the 6 months, and honestly, you might just go fuck yourself, because the way that like the developer handled themselves on Twitter, being like, oh, basically calling, for better or worse, everybody like whiny bitches.
That's more Randy Pitchford, and so
Sure,
that's on him. And I
Absolutely.
think people know Randy Pitchford for the way his attitude and how he handles things. That's mostly
Right.
on him, not so much the developers at Gearbox, but that's
Now-
mostly
now
on him.
here's-
Like, you speak for it though. Like
Yeah.
that's
And-
what I'm, like you can go fuck yourself, bro. Like come on.
And that's the part that really sucks, is that one person is hurting that company.
Well, is it going to hurt? I mean, we have to wait and see what happens. I don't think Borderlands is going to suffer anything.
Oh,
People
no,
are
it'll
going
be
to still,
fine.
they'll get it. And people, again, it goes back to that fan base that you were mentioning earlier. It's the fans that are going to have that impact. But
the
here's the
fans are
thing,
gonna
I'm
impact-
going.
Oh,
here-
I was going.
here's-
Oh no, I was
Go
going
ahead.
to say the fans that's going to impact is going to be the console players, or I think over PC. Go ahead.
But here's my thing, Dylan. You know, you say you don't want to have all these launchers. Why do we have so many different consoles? I mean, how many consoles do you own? How many people have both the PlayStation, the Xbox, the Switch, just because there are games that they can't get on every single, you know, on each console? Why people have the same game on multiple consoles? We know we're all guilty of that. Let's be honest. And we continue to purchase these games over and over again. And I could understand if these launchers were not free, but you're not paying anything. Think about all the people
So
who have
the
to
thing
pay
about
the money.
Epic's, but the thing about Epic's launcher is, so Steam, even though like Steam doesn't give as much back to the developers, Steam's established. Like one, they've got purchaser reviews, so I can look at people's reviews and see like, hey, is this game for me or not for me or whatever. They have a refund policy. They've got a customer support, even if it is kind of, you know, shit. You know, and I understand Epic's like, it's in their timeline to get all these things, but you know, that's in the future. You know, that's not now. I don't, you know, they just had a security breach. You know, I'm a little like, they're still in their infancy. I'm not saying that they're not going to be great at some point.
Well,
but-
Steam wasn't great in the beginning. It took them a
Sure.
while to get to the thing. Plus,
Absolutely.
Epic's being more selective, I think. And we were talking about this on one of our past podcasts. You know, Steam's kind of taken a bunch of garbage games. I mean, that's the issue, is that they got a lot of garbage on there as well.
Sure, they've got, Steam reminds me of the Android marketplace, right? Like it is a free for all in there. Like you're gonna have some good, you're gonna have some bad, you're gonna have, you know, all over the place. But I think that's, you know, I think that's fine.
But you're expecting, but see, you're saying Epic needs to be the same as Steam.
I'm saying they need
right
to
now.
have some basics in. I
Well,
think that
Steam, did Steam have that right away in the beginning? I don't know, because I wasn't around for the PC stuff back then.
I think Steam, for the most part, has always had customer reviews, and their refund policy has been around for quite a while. I don't know if it's new.
I
mean, not
think
new,
it was
but-
I think maybe 2014, 15. They inserted one, because I've never heard one back in the day, like when Valve was doing like games and Steam at the same time, like releasing Half-Life and stuff
Right.
like that. I don't think they had a return policy during that time, so I think it
it's a
may be a
different
couple of
gaming
years.
atmosphere back then
Yeah.
too. But yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to release and then monopolize AAA titles like they've been
They're
doing.
not. They're not.
I mean, they are.
Well,
The
they're
thing-
getting more,
the-
but these companies are getting more money. I mean, what's wrong
Sure.
with that?
It's the
What's-
return that's selling people to come to Epic than it is
Right.
with Steam.
But
And
And
I'm
why
saying
can't
if
you
you're
get your
throwing-
reviews somewhere else? I mean, does it have to be on that?
I think so.
particular platform.
Yeah, I think that if I'm going to buy it on your platform, then I should see reviews on your platform. You know, personally, that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, one of my favorite things about Steam is the Steam user reviews. I mean, they can get ridiculous. They can be informative. They can be funny. Like, it's, like, I think one of my favorite reviews was like of Shovel Knight. And it was like, this guy was doing this elaborate review, and then at the end he was like, 10 out of 10 would hit things with shovel again. And I was just like, yeah, okay, like, I'm gonna buy this game. I never played it though, but I did buy it based on that one dude's review. I probably will play it at some point, but I think that if you're going to have a store, at the very least at this point, like where we're at with gaming, you should have a refund policy. You might not have to have the reviews in place, but you should definitely have refunds in place. Everybody else has it, and I mean, if your goal is to beat Steam at their own game, then have a better refund policy than Steam does. They're making hand over fist right now with Fortnite and other AAA titles that are coming to them first. I just think that it shouldn't be that hard to implement, a pretty basic refund policy. And like I said, if you want to beat Steam at their own game, be like, hey, here's our refund policy. It's better than Steam's. Incentivize me, the customer. Right now, you're incentivizing companies, which is a smart move, but also incentivize me, the customer, to come to your thing, not just by giving me timed exclusives, because I'll wait you out. Like, I'll go play it. I'll wait 6 months. I'll play it on Steam.
well, last question for you all. Where do we see businesses in the video game industry go?
I'll tell you
go
what
ahead.
I want to see. I have, and I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot for saying this out loud in a public forum, but at this point, fuck it. I have a small personal dream that one day EA and Activision Blizzard finally fuck up enough that they collapse their own businesses, and in the wake of it, we take what is currently a steadily booming indie industry, and with those two clowns out of the way, the entire indie space just fucking explodes to make
Okay.
up for the loss of those two big AAA publishers, and in terms of like filling the space, the void essentially in the industry left in the wake of those two dying.
Dylan, where would you like to see video game business go?
I'd like to see there be like a, ideally, I would like to see there not to be a way for monopolies, like EA monopolizing the NFL license, or the Star Wars license. Like, I think licensing should be like available to multiple developers at least. Two at the very least. I think it's good for us as consumers to have multiple games in a genre that we can choose from, and it makes each one better. Like, ever since 2K15, like, Madden's just gotten lazy. Like, it used to be like, if you didn't want to play arcadey and you wanted to play more simulation, you played Madden. Well, now you only play Madden. Like, there's no choice. And 2K15 was just better. Like, it had all the career kind of stuff, but if you wanted to play a more technical game, you played Madden. I would like to see kind of the return of the, head-to-headness, so to speak, on licenses. Like, I'd like to see somebody else make a Star Wars game. I'm excited about the Respawn take on the single player Star Wars game. I think that's good, but it's still being published by EA. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some more even playing field. I'd like to see, honestly, no more exclusives. I think everybody should be able to play everything on everything. That would be dope.
Cafney, what would you like to see the video game business go?
Oh, and with everybody else.
I agree with him with what he said. That was actually where I was going to go. I think the cross-platforming it needs to continue, and we're seeing that going with, again, I'm using Fortnite as my example, with when PlayStation was just like, fuck y'all, we're only playing with PC players, and Microsoft and Nintendo came to an agreement, and then PlayStation was just like, okay, we better, not be
Get
so
our shit
exclusive.
together. Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't necessarily. I like having the idea that there are games that are exclusive to certain consoles. I like that feeling. I think that needs to continue because I think that's going to continue for the consumers. It sucks, but it makes games, I think, more. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not rare.
Accessible.
I don't know if it's accessible, but I think it makes it. I think if we have too much choice, we're not going to be. We're like you said, Eddie. We're not going to try new things. We're going to just stick with what we're comfortable with. I think by having limitations.
But don't you do that already with, with it being limited? Like if you like Nintendo games, you're going to buy a Switch.
Right.
But if you could have Nintendo games on your PC, wouldn't you still play them on your PC?
Not necessarily,
I
because
think...
there's other games I want to play on my PC. My PC is for the more epic and more the ones that use up a lot of the processing power. So games like Skyrim, Witcher 3, Fortnite, the battle royales, the games that take up, that have, that are really the bigger, just bigger. Whereas like with Nintendo, with having my Switch, there's games I only would play on that. Like I would never play Tetris on my computer. Never in a million years. I know it is available, but for me, Tetris is Nintendo. There are just certain games that are. Here's a perfect example. I really want to play Kingdom Hearts, but I know it's only available on a PlayStation console. At this time.
No, I was about to say the third one or just the first two.
All basically everything except for
all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I've never played. He had to leave. Computer issues. But I don't feel like I'm missing out because I do have opportunities to watch other people play, and I can still play the games that I like to play. I would like to see the continuation of the different consoles, of having the games not accessible. I like the idea that, and I like having the choice of variety. I don't have to have all these consoles to be able to consider myself a gamer. And I hope it continues that way because I think that's the other issue too. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to say this. I'm getting off track because my brain's just foggy right now. For me again, I don't necessarily need to play everything. I have the access to it with my PC, but even still, I'm limited as to what I can play, and that doesn't bother me. I'd like to see it continue because it forces me, because I focus on certain games, and I really take the time to review and make those choices.
On the same, on the flip side of that same idea, though, the Master Chief collections come into PC, right? Like Halo's going to be on PC for the first time.
Which I never played.
Never played, but now you're going to have the availability to play it for the first time.
Possibly, if I want to.
If you want to, but it'll be there. You'll have that option.
But I was fine without it. I didn't need to go run out. I mean, I heard all the great things about Halo, but I still didn't feel like I needed to go run out and buy it.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have. I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
I see what you're saying. But that's just it. Like, again, you know,
Don't forget, there's other games in that same genre
Yeah,
that you can
I mean,
play. And
look at all
we-
the battle royale games there are out there. I mean, think about all the, you know,
Hey.
between PUBG, Apex, Fortnite.
we had Mag on PS3.
I mean, hell, GoldenEye. I mean, come on, let's go back. We're gonna go back. Let's talk about GoldenEye.
Well,
I mean,
Kevin-
hell. But I just, what I'd like to see. I guess the big thing is just keep making awesome fucking games and continue to find ways to bring the old games back to make it available for all of us to be able to
Crossplay.
to reminisce about what we had. Like Eddie is always saying, games were freaking hard. It'll be nice to get back to those difficulties. Games maybe have gotten too easy. It would be nice to be able to port back a lot of those old time games without having to use old hardware. That would be something, I think, especially with the gaming generation continuing to age, bringing back even more so, which like Switch is doing with those old Nintendo games with their online capabilities. To see that to be maybe put into more, I think there is a big market for that. And if somebody could do it well enough and bring it to, I mean, I know it's been tried. I had in television, either lives on my GameCube. Sucked, hard to control, but I had it, you know, and it was a good way to play some of those old Intellivision games. Can somebody do it better? That would be kind of a neat thing to bring.
For me, I'm gonna be real quick. I think the video game business kind of needs to expand to other countries to kind of bring their stuff like to America. Like, I really want to play a game developed from India or a game developed by that came somewhere from Africa. Whether it's good or bad or anything, you know, be able to give them feedback and stuff. I would love to have different experience now around the world, since we're such an online community in a sense. With Steam, Epic, Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Zoom, Stadia, and stuff like that. I think we will now be able to have more offerings from different places. Like, I would love to play a game from Australia. Give me a kangaroo and a panda platform game with some Street Fighter in it. Like, make your stuff wacky. Like, I will play some crazy stuff from around the world. Not so much hentai or anything like that, but just something.
I'll play that.
but just something that, you know, this came from a team from Australians. You know, that their heart was, maybe they got inspired by playing Half-Life. So there's interpretation of Half-Life mixed with Portal or in Titanfall or something like that. Bring something from like India. You know, the way we got how Ori and the Blind Forest came from Moon Studio. You know, that happened with some people in India and other people around the world. Like, I kind of want that experience to really come. And I think in the future, we're going to get that, especially with the rise of importing on Switch. Hopefully the importing community gets bigger, that there are more offerings that Amazon or eBay or just something to be like, hey, if you want to get this game physically, you could order it like through Amazon America or Amazon Japan and send it here. Like, they like stories that report on the game that's coming out, just offer that they offer that button, be like, oh, you're reading this game on Nintendo Life, well, it's out in Japan. If you guys want to order it, here's the link for Amazon Japan, and then you can get that physical version. Because like there, you got that Metroid Samus Returns from Europe. You know, I would literally love to have that stuff available to me, and I'll pay the shipping fee if I have to. But that's kind of the way that I want the video game business kind of to go to. Topher, I'm gonna let you have the last word. I'm sorry that this is going long, but
no, that's all right. I don't have really anything to add to what you guys have said. So,
but where would you personally like the video game business to go?
I don't know how to answer that. I really don't.
If the industry started to change shape and take a new shape, what would the ideal shape of that industry look like for you?
I don't know.
Can we get Treasure to make some more games?
Yeah.
Then-
Bring
Cause-
Cave back.
oh yes.
I don't know.
Well, would you think that there should be a company that could see they could get IPs that been canceled to them and be able to bring them out or something, or games that don't get
man.
finished?
Yeah, I'd love to see Conker's
Sure,
Bad
why
Fur
not?
Day remake.
Because I would play that Fallujah game that Konami was going to publish but didn't.
I think we need to redo ET for the Atari 2600.
Oh,
Come
God.
on.
Get out of here.
Wasn't that done? I think I saw that somewhere that somebody had actually made like a decent ET for the 2600.
Can I get that
Surprised me.
Can I get that Kung Fu 2 that came out on PC that someone did?
We need to get Contra back. I'm sorry. That's the one that really needs to come back. Sorry. Off topic.
Topher, question about that. Do you know why they won't release the NES version?
Contra?
Yeah, has there ever been a story about why they won't do it? I can't find it nowhere.
I don't know. Probably some Konami bullshit. Surely.
It's always Konami bullshit.
Mhm.
I'm surprised we're getting that Castlevania thing.
What
Yeah.
about you, Larry?
Really
Nobody asked
surprised
you.
me that was happening.
So aside from, kind of relishing the idea of, watching EA and Activision Blizzard collapse in on themselves, and
That's
Watching.
gonna happen.
Yeah, it
will
will.
happen.
It will happen.
like,
yeah.
don't get me wrong, I feel I don't want terrible things to happen
I feel like
to
Blizzard's
the
done.
hardworking people that make stuff there, but from a damage to the industry standpoint, those two need to fucking eat themselves. But I kind of have this landscape in my head where those two are like the titans of the industry in terms of publishers, and I want to my vision is that those two titans eventually fucking explode, and we're looking at 30 years down the road, kind of nuclear wasteland, but things are just starting to pop up finally and regrow from the ground in this fucking barren nuked out desert, and those beautiful little things are indie games cropping up. And I mean, on top of that, I really think it breaks my heart that Ouya failed the way it did, because I liked the idea of their business model where every console was literally equipped out of the box to be a dev kit, and it could have, had it have not been a garbage piece of hardware, it could have been an absolute paradise of small to mid-tier games where creativity could flourish again in a way that the big publishers have tried stifling in the last 8 to 12 years.
It will. That's going to happen anyway, regardless, like I said, of what those huge companies like that are doing. Like, I don't even play shit like that. I don't even remember the last EA game or Activision game that I played.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's going to fall in on itself, and it's not.
I just hate that
matter.
Activision's
They-
a part of Blizzard
They do
now.
hold 1 or 2 IPs that I would love to see something happen with again, but I would be
Warcraft.
way happier if those IPs escaped their grasp and got back into the hands of the developers, and those developers, kind of were able to break independent
They
again.
will.
Like,
They will.
like
They'll have to sooner or later.
visceral,
It's all going to
you
go
know?
crashing down. That whole thing's not sustainable.
yeah,
Like capitalism itself, it's just not
Yeah.
sustainable.
people talk it, but when this actually in motion, it doesn't work. Because I feel like the Japanese companies, like the East, is coming back hard, and they're coming back in a better way. Because a lot of people really want to play their games along with the indies and stuff. Like we they're not saying Breath of the Wild, but we looked at the last Nintendo Direct and look how Square Enix has kind of transformed some of their games in the sense that people want them. Not speaking about Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 15, but I'm just like, people want that Secret of Mana collection to come to America. People seeing that one indie game that Square Enix is doing, and they can't wait for that to come. Look how Octopath Traveler did in America, even in Bravely Default, where Square Enix had no faith in it, and it sold that buku of copies.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the East is making a comeback in a good way. And even like Mega Man 11, regardless of it sold or not, people were happy to have that game back on their systems, and people were like, I'm definitely getting this for Switch, or I'm definitely getting it for this platform. Heck, Platinum is making a splash, and they have been like on a downfall after working with Activision.
I don't know. I don't think Platinum is all doom and gloom. They've got their fingers in enough pies that aren't full of like fucking just liquid shit.
Well, they got their hands in that Nintendo money, so that says a lot than what they had their hands in with Activision. So
yeah. So
Larry, I'm gonna hand it back over to you. You want to close out the show?
Yeah, let's wrap this bitch up. Before we get any longer in the tooth than we already are. As always, you know, you've made it this far into our nonsense. So, you know, if you're still here, some things you should do is, you know, subscribe to us at our home at world11.podbean.com, all spelled out, all one word. Or, you know, if Podbean Direct is not your platform of choice, you know, make sure you hit the subscribe button on either iTunes, Google Play Music, or Spotify. You know, if you're catching us on Twitch, you should show us some love and click the heart and get the notifications when we go live with not only our show recordings, but also all the other cool stuff that we do, like the Dumb Leading the Blind and Pipe Streams and World 1-1 Plays, as well as some of the new upcoming stuff that we're working on and getting ready to launch. Including Command Prompt is just about ready to make its way through the birth canal and into the world. You know, if you catch us on YouTube, where you can also catch the archived footage of not only the show, but also all those cool things that we do on Twitch, as well as some things that don't even make it to Twitch, like the unboxings that'll be going up this week, Thursday, of Iconoclast and some of the other really cool ones that we've done, then you should definitely beat that subscribe button like it owes you money. And, you know, in memoriam of Quasimodo and his poor home burned to the ground, you should also ring the notification bell. Beyond that, you know, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out this weird Instagram thing that Cassie's working on, because it'll probably become something at some point. Other than that, big thank you to everybody that tuned in this week. Bigger thank you to all those of you that actually made it this far. And an even bigger thank you, show of affection and love to all my wonderful partners in crime. Eddie Freakin' B, Dylan Drinky Pants, Kathy Lord of the Stream, Josh LeGrew, and our very, very special guest this week, royalty itself, Topher Cantler, king of the frickin' bees.
Hooray!
He sits on a throne of Slurpee.
Which reminds me, Topher, any new Slurpees that came out? I haven't
There's
caught
a
up.
coffee one, and it's gross.
Yeah, we need give us the Slurpee update.
Oh god.
There's a coffee one, and it's gross. There's a Captain Crunch one, which actually is pretty good.
I may try that one. I need to find it.
It makes me angry that it's good, but it's not bad.
Pink lemonade was always my favorite.
Ooh,
That reminds me, Topher, I got an idea. I want to float past you when we're done with this in a minute.
Okay.
So, but that being said, this has been another episode of World 1-1 Podcast. As always, I am your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder, and we will catch you guys again next week. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time on World 11 Podcast. Bye.
Peace.
Is there an American one where like I wear a cowboy hat and beat my wife?